I was born in Hastings, Nebraska in 1944. Lived there all my life and started going to a lot of big car races at Belleville for years and years. My dad and my two uncles took me, trained me everything I should know about going to the races. And used to go to Lakeside, Colorado, and watch midgets there for years as I was growing up. And then 56 and 57, I ran my first soapbox derby in Omaha, which was quite an experience. I showed up building my own car. Some of the kids that were there had cars that didn't look like they built, but it was okay. But anyway, in 1965, where I live, the dirt track was going to open up with stock cars. And a couple of my buddies that graduated in 1962 thought we ought to have a hobby, and so we bought a 37 Chevy Coupe, and we all graduated in 62, and that's where the 62 number came from for years and years as we raced. And then we raced late then in probably in 1968. We really became successful and built a car to really compete, because all my life I like to be number one, so I like to be in the back. And we ran a late model until 1980. And my partner wanted to run a mini sprint, and we thought, well, it's time to update that stock car, and we sold it, and I thought I'd find a midget. And so I was looking around and decided that if I wanted to run up front, I should buy a better car than what I was looking at. And so I bought one out in Denver, and a good friend of mine that ran the late model had run sprint cars, and we started with the midget. And the second time out in Colorado, we won, and midget became part of our life, and raced it in Colorado about every 2 weeks. Got to know that road real well. And then as we got into 1990, the fellow that was driving for me, it was time for him to quit racing, and hired Dave Strickland Jr. with a lot of background in the Colorado area. And we ran from 2000 to 2002 together. And in 2002, the same guy that drove for me, we took Ryan Durst to run him with USAC, and in 2003 he was Rookie of the Year. And then started working a little bit before that with Bob and Bobby East, and you know how successful that was over the years. Well, it was pretty monumental. It was somebody new that was different than what we had done before, because it was all local before. And so picking Dave up out in Denver was a good deal. And the fellow that was building the motors for us at that time, Wayne House, his background was in, I believe it was 84, had the first Chevrolet small block that participated in the Indy 500. Anyway, we went to a pavement track and we qualified number one. And he said, I thought this guy didn't know pavement. And I said, well, must be all right. Qualified number one. So, yeah, we had a lot of good years with Dave. We won a USAC event at Eagle. We're really close, finished second a couple other times. Eagle was a good racetrack for us. I started working with Bob, it was probably 1987. Bought my first car from him at Challenge, and then as he indicated to me, he was going to move to Indy, and I had one of either the third or the fourth car that he ever built. Bob was always very helpful to us when we were running in Colorado. I could call him anytime and give me the information, and then when it came time for Bobby to start to run some, I wanted to be part of that. And so we've just been a great team for all those years, from through the 90s, and then in 2000 when Bobby started picking it up. We were winning some races with the midget, and we were running some races with the as we call it, the Maroon 5.
Pretty much.
Bob calls it the ATM machine, but
It's a pity.
that was a lot of fun for me, because the fellow that had raced with me for a number of years decided to quit, and Bob and I hooked up, and it's been a great relationship ever since 2000 to where we are today. And they were racing at Richmond, as you know, NASCAR last week, and I thought, gosh, we won our first Silver Crown race with Bobby at Richmond in 2004, and I happened to think, holy crap, that's 20 years ago. It doesn't seem that long ago. But, so, yeah, we've had a great relationship over the years. Bobby was fantastic. You never had to talk to him about how we ought to get in there and go. He was dynamic individual when it came time to tighten the belts and get on track. And my grandson's growing up. Dominic wasn't quite old enough yet then, but his brother was with us at Pikes Peak when we were out there. And we had Brady on the dirt, and we had Kyle Hamilton on the pavement. And yeah, that was really a highlight of my total career. Even though I won a lot of championships out in Rocky Mountain, never had won a USAC win until 2019. But yeah, I have that picture of Bob and I in my office and look at it every day thinking that someday we'll be back to that. 2006, we had an opportunity. We were in the copying equipment business and had an opportunity to sell that business or have to grow bigger and buy another dealership. We were able to come to agreement with an individual and sold it, and I got out of that. But I still had a sound system business that we do a lot of drive-through. When you drive up to the menu board at a fast food and talk back and forth, we do a lot of that in the state of Nebraska. And then in 2010, I got into the purified drinking water business that we do basically for businesses. Standalone unit, we hook up to their water and then filter it. And we have about 1,000 of those machines out on lease. And so we just keep going. My wife says I got too much to do, but we'll continue to race. I have plenty to do because I'm part owner of a road course out in Hastings, Nebraska. That's got a lot of momentum going for it too. And it was all new to me because I was always circle track racing, but that's been a part of a history of us into racing. I've got Dominic and his brother to kind of take over what I want to start to maybe lay back a little bit. And Dominic and his brother both race go-karts at our facility, Margay's, and so I'm sure we'll keep on going for a while.